Hello from the other side, CJ here. Budget gaming phones have been around for quite a while now, and it's nice to see Nubia is still releasing new phones in this category. One of the latest being the Nubia Neo 5 5G, and on paper, it seems to handle both gaming and everyday tasks well. But as we all know, specs don't always tell the full story. So in this review, we're putting it through the wringer to see how it actually performs in real-world use. Let's get right to it. Just like previous models, the Nubia Neo 5 still leans heavily into its gaming identity. The back stands out immediately with sharp geometric pattern, almost industrial, highlighted by this iconic eye design. It doesn't try to be subtle, and for a gaming-focused device, that works in its favor. One of its standout elements is the RGB lighting near the rear cameras. It adds a bit of personality to the phone, especially during gaming sessions or when notifications come in. It's not something everyone will need, but it does help reinforce that cyber aesthetic it's going for. That said, build quality is decent for its category. The phone uses a plastic build with a glossy finish and kind of like a carbon print if you take a closer look. However, as expected of a glossy finish, the back panel is prone to smudges. Moving on to iOS, on the right is the red accented power button along with the shoulder triggers. On the left, there are the volume buttons and the SIM card tray. Interestingly enough, there's a 3.5mm headphone jack on the bottom along with the USB-C port, a mic, and the speaker grill. At the top, there's just a mic, but the earpiece doubles as a second loudspeaker. One thing that it takes getting used to is the volume button placement. If you're used to the right side controls, which most Android phones do have, there's a bit of a learning curve here. Not a major issue, but I think it's hard to ignore for daily use. Going back to the shoulder triggers on the right, or what Nubia calls it, Neo Triggers 5.0, which is going to be useful for gaming. More on that in a bit. Moving on to the screen, the Nubia Neo 5 features a 6.8-inch IPS LCD with HD plus resolution and 120Hz refresh rate. While the resolution is not the sharpest given the screen size, it's still usable for your day-to-day tasks. In actual use, the display performs well enough for activities like watching videos, scrolling through social media, reading articles, and casual browsing. The 120Hz refresh rate helps make everything feel smoother, especially when navigating through apps or switching between menus. For video consumption, the experience is decent. Colors are acceptable, and while it doesn't have the deep contrast of AMOLED panels, it still delivers a respectable experience for streaming content. Whether you're watching YouTube, short-form videos, or movies, it gets the job done without major issues. Do note that it's Widevine L3 certified, but that's okay since it's an HD Plus screen after all. Its brightness is sufficient for indoor use and moderate outdoor conditions. Under direct sunlight, visibility can drop a bit, but it remains usable with some adjustments. In terms of audio, the speakers are loud enough for watching videos or playing games, but the quality is average in my opinion. There's enough clarity for dialogue and sound effects, but it does lack some bass so it doesn't feel as immersive. For long usage sessions, the phone includes read mode, dark mode, and eye comfort features which help reduce eye strain. These are useful if you spend a lot of time reading or gaming on this device. As for biometrics, the phone supports face unlock and a side-mounted fingerprint sensor. Both work reliably, but I'd always suggest using the fingerprint sensor instead as it's more secure. The camera setup on the Nubia Neo 5 is fairly basic, and in real-world use, it shows its limitations. It comes with a 13-megapixel main camera, for the 2-megapixel secondary sensor, and a 16-megapixel selfie shooter up front. One problem I encountered is focusing. The camera can struggle to lock onto subjects at times, especially in less than ideal conditions. There are moments when you need to take multiple shots just to get one usable image. When it does capture properly, the results are decent, but there's a tendency for images to look overexposed and slightly softened. This gives photos a more processed look rather than looking more natural. In terms of well-lit environments, the cameras perform noticeably better. Details are more visible, and the phone is capable enough of capturing decent shots for quick social media posts. Colors are handled fairly well, although skin tones can sometimes appear a bit pale. Dynamic range seems limited, so highlights can get blown out in certain scenes. Background and subject separation are also just okay. In low light, the camera struggles more. Noise becomes more noticeable, and the phone tends to overcompensate by brightening the image, which can reduce overall detail. Night shots are usable but not particularly impressive, and you may need to manually adjust settings if you want a balanced result. The front camera performs similarly. It's fine for casual selfies and video calls, but don't expect high levels of detail or sharpness. For the most part, the camera feels like it's designed for convenience rather than quality. It works best in bright conditions and for quick snaps, but it's not gonna be its strongest suit.
The Nubia Neo 5 shooting at 1080p at 30 frames per second. That's the highest it's got. What do you think so far of its audio? Is it good? Here are your colors. Here are details. But yeah, let us know in the comment section below.
Powering the Neo 5 is the Unisoc T9300 5G chipset. It gets paired with 8GB of RAM along with 256GB of storage. For everyday use, performance is generally smooth. Tasks like messaging, browsing, and scrolling through social media run without major issues. App launches are reasonably quick, and multitasking is manageable, though you may notice occasional slowdowns when pushing multiple apps at once. Looking at the benchmarks, these results place the phone in the entry-level gaming section. In actual gameplay, the phone performs best with lighter titles. In Pokemon Unite, it runs smoothly at the highest settings. Frame rate stays stable and the experience feels responsive, especially during teamfights and fast movements. The shoulder triggers also work well here, activating right on time with each tap. Although I'm pretty sure many would find this additional level of control useful for shooter games like Call of Duty Mobile and the likes. When moving on to more demanding games like Wuthering Waves, the limitations become more obvious. The game defaults to the lowest settings and even then, the game is barely playable. Frame drops can happen during heavier scenes, especially when multiple effects are happening at once. Despite the fact, thermals are handled fairly well. The phone gets warm during gaming, but it doesn't reach uncomfortable levels or become too hot to hold. And even during extended sessions, at least for lighter games, the temperature remained manageable. Overall, performance is reliable for daily use and casual games, but it clearly struggles with more demanding titles. But that's to be expected since this is a budget phone after all. Software-wise, the Nubia Neo 5 runs on iOS 16 based on Android 16, offering a mix of standard Android features and Nubia's own quirks. The interface is generally smooth and easy to navigate. It supports split-screen multitasking, which is useful for running two apps at once, though it lacks a floating window option. There are also several AI features including AI Writing, Google Translate, Live Translator, AI Memory, AI Filter, and AI Notepad among others. These tools are useful for productivity and quick tasks, though how often you use them will depend on your workflow. One of Nubia's additions is Demi, an interactive AI chatbot. It can provide gaming-related information, real-time updates, and even auto-reply to messages, which adds a bit more functionality for gamers. There are also a number of pre-installed apps, though most of them are grouped into folders to keep the home screen cleaner. Many of these apps come from Nubia itself, such as ZTE Cares, Private Safe, Phone Switch, and Nubia Link Free. They use a consistent icon style, so it's easy to tell which one are first-party apps. While they're not necessarily intrusive, some users may find them unnecessary. The phone also includes GameSpace 5, which centralizes gaming tools and allows you to adjust performance settings and manage notifications while playing. Haptics are decent overall. The vibration feedback works as expected during normal use, but when it comes to gaming, especially with the shoulder triggers, the vibration isn't strong or distracting over time. It's responsive but not subtle for the most part. Next up, let's talk about the battery life. The Nubia Neo 5 is equipped with a 6050 mAh unit paired with 45 watts of wired charging. Looking at our PC Mark battery life test, the phone lasted 12 hours and 6 minutes, which translates decently into our real-world use. With typical use, it can comfortably get through a full day with a mix of gaming, social media, video streaming, and general browsing. When the battery does run low, the 45-watt charging refills it from 0 to 100 in over an hour. And since this is a gaming-focused phone, it also supports bypass charging. This allows us to set a certain battery threshold, say up to 90%. After it charges to that level, the phone would then start to draw power from the charger itself instead of the battery. This means it's healthier for the battery as it won't contribute to battery decay. For connectivity, the phone includes 5G, 40 LTE, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, and NFC, and a USB Type-C port, along with the 3.5mm headphone jack, which remains practical for those who prefer a wired listening experience. Before we move on to the verdict, I want you all to know that we don't have the pricing info just yet for the Nubia Neo 5. But for some context, last year's Nubia Neo 3 5G retailed for 9,999 pesos. So we could expect the newer model to be priced around the same range. Now, let's talk about our verdict. Based on what we've experienced so far, the Nubia Neo 5 5G remains one of the more reliable contenders when it comes to budget gaming phones. Features like the shoulder triggers, large battery capacity, and other gaming tools makes it suitable for most people. Sure, its performance won't be enough for graphic-intensive games, the IPS LCD is a bit of a downside, and the cameras are decent at best. But it's surely good enough for popular titles here in the Philippines. MOBAs like Mobile Legends and first-person shooters like Call of Duty Mobile run smoothly on this phone. And especially with those shoulder triggers, you get some extra console-level controls, giving a little bit of edge to playing these games. Bottom line, if you're looking to play lighter games and having some extra controls, then the Nubia Neo 5 5G makes sense to get. Plus, for everything else, it definitely works as intended. So what do you think about the Nubia Neo 5 5G? Will you get this anytime soon? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel at the bell icon to post notifications for our future uploads. See us on the socials, that's Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. And see YouGoTech.com for latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been CJ, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! See you later!